In the quiet and unassuming neighborhood of Indianapolis, on a street known as Carolina Street, a family's life took a nightmarish turn in 2011. Latoya Emmons, a mother of three, moved into a rental house with the children, expecting nothing more than a peaceful life in their new home. Little did they know that this ordinary-looking house would become the epicenter of a terrifying and baffling supernatural phenomena. It all began innocently enough, with small things. The Emmons family heard strange noises, a creaking floorboard here, an unexplained thump there. At first they brushed these occurrences aside as the typical settling sounds of an old house. However, these innocuous noises soon gave way to something far more sinister. The first sign that something was terribly wrong came when Latoya's three children started behaving oddly. It started with their eyes rolling back into their heads as if possessed by some unseen force. Their voices, once filled with innocence, turned deep and unnatural, uttering words that sent shivers down the spines of anyone who heard them. But it didn't stop there. The children, it seemed, were no longer in control of their own bodies. They entered trance-like states during which they claimed to see dark, shadowy figures lurking in the corners of their rooms. The siblings began levitating, defying gravity in a way that defied explanation. And most terrifying of all, they exhibited superhuman strength and surpassed anything their young bodies should have been capable of. Frightened and desperate, Latoya turned to the authorities for help. She contacted the Department of Child Services (DCS) and the local police, attempting to explain the unexplainable. She recounted her children's eerie behavior, the levitations, and the malevolent voices that seemed to possess them. She told them about the mysterious footsteps and the shadowy figures that now haunted her house. But instead of sympathy and assistance, the Emmons family was met with skepticism and disbelief. Social workers and police officers conducted investigations, searching for signs of child abuse or neglect, but they found nothing. The evidence they collected only deepened the mystery. The children's eerie behavior continued even in the presence of professionals. During these investigations, more strange events unfolded before the eyes of the authorities. Doors slammed shut on their own, despite the absence of drafts or windows being open. Objects moved as if guided by an unseen hand. Swarms of flies appeared out of nowhere, infesting the house even in the dead of winter. One police officer, who initially entered the house as a skeptic, became a believer after a chilling experience. He reported being slapped by an unseen force, a sensation he could not explain or deny. With nowhere else to turn and their lives in turmoil, the Emmons family sought refuge in their faith. They reached out to their local church, the New Life Deliverance Center, where they met Reverend Michael Maginot. Upon hearing their chilling story, Reverend Maginot believed that a malevolent and demonic force had taken a hold of the family and then their home was in danger. He believed that an exorcism, a spiritual cleansing ritual to rid the family of this malevolent presence, was the only way to save them from their living nightmare. Thus began a series of exorcisms performed in the house on Carolina Street. The exorcisms were anything but ordinary. The Emmons children, seemingly possessed by dark forces, reacted violently to the rituals. They spoke in guttural voices, their bodies contorted in ways that defied the laws of physics. Witnesses to the exorcisms report feeling an overwhelming sense of malevolence and dread. Despite the intense and often terrifying nature of the exorcisms, Reverend Maginot and his team persevered. They performed the rituals with prayers, holy water, crosses, and religious artifacts, seeking to banish the demonic forces that had tormented the family. Over time, the exorcisms seemed to have a positive effect. The Emmons family reported fewer incidents of strange occurrences, and the malevolent manifestations seemed to diminish. The case began to fade from public attention, and the family moved on, leaving behind the house on Carolina Street. However, the story of the Emmons family's alleged possession and exorcism continues to be a subject of intense debate and controversy. Skeptics argue that the family's experiences may be attributable to psychological or environmental factors, while others believe that they encountered genuine demonic forces. As the years have passed, the house on Carolina Street has seen new residents who report no unusual incidents or paranormal activity. Still, the events of 2011 have left an indelible mark on the Ammons family and those who have followed their story. The story of Latoya Ammons and her family is a chilling reminder that the line between the known and the unknown is sometimes blurred. Whether one believes it was a case of genuine possession or a complex psychological phenomena, the events on Carolina Street serve as a testament to the enduring human fascination with the supernatural and the unexplained. It is a story that continues to haunt the imagination, leaving us to ponder the mysteries that lie beyond our comprehension. The Villisca ex-murder house is a notorious historical site located in Villisca, Iowa, known for a gruesome and unsolved murder that took place in 1912. In the early 20th century, Villisca, Iowa was a quiet and close-knit community, typical of many small towns in the American Midwest. The town was home to hardworking families, and life was peaceful. However, the tranquility of Villisca was shattered on the night of June 9, 1912 by a horrific event that would haunt the town for generations. On that fateful night, the Moore family, consisting of Josiah and Sarah Moore and their 4 children, Herman, Catherine, Boyd, and Paul, attended a local event at a church with the Stillinger family. Lena and Ina Stillinger were friends with the Moore children, and they all decided to spend the night together at the Moore family home. The 8 of them returned to the Moore family residence on West 2nd Street, unaware of the terror that awaited them. The following morning, a neighbor became concerned when they noticed that the Moore house was unusually quiet. They decided to check on the family and were met with a horrifying sight. Inside the house, they discovered the lifeless bodies of all 8 individuals. The victims had been bludgeoned to death with an axe, and the murder scene was a scene of unimaginable brutality. There were signs of struggle, and the mirrors and windows in the house had been covered with clothing, suggesting an attempt to conceal the gruesome scene from view. The news of the Villisca ex-murders quickly spread throughout the town, leaving the community in a state of shock and disbelief. It was an unimaginable act of violence that had taken the lives of 2 families, including children as young as 7, and 2 guests who had innocently spent the night. Local law enforcement and townspeople immediately launched an investigation into the murders. It became one of the most significant and exhaustive investigations in Iowa's history up to that point. Despite their best efforts, the authorities faced numerous challenges in solving the case. The crime scene had been compromised by curious onlookers, and forensic techniques of the time were limited. Several suspects were considered, and there were even arrests, but no one was ever successfully prosecuted for the murders. Some suspects were dismissed due to alibis, and others were tried but ultimately acquitted. As the years passed, the Villisca ex-murders became a haunting and an unsolved mystery. The house where the murders occurred, known as the Villisca ex-murder house, gained a notorious reputation. It changed hands several times but remained largely uninhabited due to the widespread belief that it was haunted by the restless spirits of the victims. Reports of paranormal activity within the house included unexplained footsteps, ghostly apparitions, and eerie voices. The legend of the Villisca murder house grew, attracting the attention of paranormal investigators, thrill seekers, and tourists interested in the macabre history of the location. In 1994, the Villisca ex-murder house was purchased by Darwin and Martha Lynn, who worked to restore and preserve the property as a historical landmark. Today it stands as a museum and a place of remembrance, offering guided tours for visitors interested in learning about the tragic events of the night in 1912. The Villisca ex-murder house serves as a chilling reminder of a dark chapter in American history, a crime that shocked a small town and left an enduring legacy of mystery and horror. Though the murders remain unsolved, the house itself continues to capture the imagination of those who dare to enter its haunted halls, keeping the memory of the victims alive and their story one of the most enduring mysteries in true crime history.